fire makes the city lights of night. Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay while we leave. Stay with Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me.
I miss those nights when we were younger and we would never sleep. So let's forget about tomorrow and live for tonight while we're free. And our hands will touch the sky. Tonight we're coming alive. And our hands will touch the sky. Tonight we're coming alive. And our hands will touch the sky. Tonight we're coming alive. From the dust we will awaken, and life will fill our veins. But these are the moments that we live for. I can't keep it inside of me. And our hands will touch the sky. Tonight we're coming alive.
Dire team back. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick.
Shadow Fiend.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Templar Assassin.
Radiant team pick.
Slardar.
Dire team pick.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to joinDOTA League 8. We have ISG versus Easy today. I'm Vivi from New Meta Media, joined by my co-broadcaster DJ Sneak. DJ Sneak, how you doing today?
I am doing very well. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Ready to watch some Dota. I had some awful pub games earlier. You know, the usual.
The huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just jump right into the draft here. I see a lot of really interesting things. First of all, to note, ISG first bans the Winter Wyvern. Now, I think this is actually a very specific ban for Nekomitsu, who tends to run it on support a lot. It seems to have quite a bit of success for them. So, other than that, we do have some very generic bans. You know, the Darkseer, the Doom, things that are just kind of really good right now.
Yeah, and even after the nerf, she's still incredibly relevant. Like, a good Winter's Curse will turn a team fight around completely.
Absolutely. And like what I just love about Winter Wyvern in general is you don't need anything. You don't need any kind of farm and you are still relevant. You can be the poorest support in the world, you know, brown boots, 55 minutes in, and your ult, as you said, can still completely turn around a team fight.
And there's not a lot of supports that you can say that about. I mean, you could say it about Crystal Maiden, but later in the game, she needs like a BKB or Shadow Cloak. No, not
Yeah.
Shadow.
Glimmer Cape, I know what you're
Glimmer
talking about.
Cape.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my big problems with Crystal Maiden as a support is that she doesn't really usually get much farm. She is super squishy, but her ultimate requires her to be up in the front lines, which I think is just very counterintuitive. That being said, she's never really been irrelevant as a hero in the game.
Yeah, and she got picked up a little bit in the pro scene during TI5, and that's always interesting to see because her ultimate does so much damage.
Yeah, and whenever I think of CM in the pro scene, I think back to like Zai back when he was on EG before he left, just playing like the position 5, position 2 Crystal Maiden when he'd get ahead, he'd get a BKB, he'd get a blink, he'd jump in the middle and just get his full duration ult off and destroy the enemy team.
Yeah, and Puppy's played him a couple of times in a couple of programs, and it's always fun to watch.
Yeah,
she doesn't get picked up very often, and I like playing her, and so it's always fun to see pros play characters that we like to play.
I like playing Crystal Maiden for the first 10 minutes of the game. That's about it for me. Then I'm done. I throw in the towel.
Yeah.
Let's look at some of these picks. It looks like ISG picking up the Shadow Fiend. Now, this is likely going to go on... It's strange. They have a lot of stand-ins here, so I'm not really familiar with these players. I don't know if one of them is Focus in disguise, but I know he does tend to play the Shadow Fiend a lot. It could also just be a soft ban by picking it to get it away from K13, who does run it. But he did get his TA, which is very nice.
Yeah, and Shadow Fiend's really strong right now. If he gets good farm, he can snowball out of control really quickly, and the same can be said about TA.
Absolutely.
We're already seeing the Tusk that can roam around and protect her and get her that farm. So I actually, so far, I like Easy's lineup a little better.
Yeah, Tusk likely going to be played by B2K. He does like playing those tankier supports, and it really is nice to have at least one support that can take a little bit of a hit. Tusk Undying, Earthshaker, that kind of thing. So it's a very solid strategy. One thing I've found with Shadow Fiend, though, I don't know if you agree, is that I find if the enemy team has a Shadow Fiend, you can get away with a bit of a greedier lineup, because he doesn't gank as much as a lot of other mids. I know ganking mids aren't even really that big of an issue anymore, but he does tend to like sitting in his jungle, getting his stacks until he can get an item or two online, and then just, balling out of control.
Yeah, I do feel he's a little like the new Storm Spirit. He's not as mobile as Storm Spirit is, but he's definitely like if he gets good, if his supports get good stacks in the jungle for him, he can go into the jungle, 5-6 minutes into the game, come out and have like a giant item.
Yeah, and like Storm, he can be ganked mid, 5-6 times, and like you said, he just runs into that jungle, comes out 10 minutes later, and he's relevant again for the mid game. Yeah. So overall, a hero that I think I should probably try and pick up.
I love seeing Ogre Magi in games. I have a guilty pleasure for his big round ass.
Yeah, he is. I do like him too, actually. It was a little bit shaky for a long time after he got nerfed. Fire Blast had such a short range that you had to practically be beside them. But people seem to be maxing out Ignite and Bloodlust now quite a bit, which is very interesting.
Yeah. You can Bloodlust the towers now. Was that new to 6.4?
Oh yeah, yeah.
But that's kind of a big deal. You can also Bloodlust the catapults, which makes tower sieging really effective.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's really crazy. Huh. And also, Slardar is someone that we've been seeing get picked up a lot more. And what I really like about him right now is that people play him in the off lane and the safe lane almost equally. Like, he can do well in either. He can go to the off lane and play more of the initiator role, I find. People tend to build a blink dagger on him, or he can just hard farm and he becomes quite relevant with that massive minus armor from amplified damage.
Yeah, and I think it's actually interesting that they pick it up so early, because I feel like he's easily dealt with. If you shut him down, like if they get a team that can shut him down early-ish, he's really hard to come back on.
He is. Yeah, I've felt that myself. You get a couple deaths to your name and you haven't farmed up any major items yet, and you pretty much become irrelevant unless there is someone else on your team that can do a nice amount of physical damage. So they can make use of your ult where you can't. And in this case, they're stacking it with the Templar Assassin, who does a lot of minus armor as well, and Witch Doctor's ult is physical. So I feel like for team fights, at least in the mid game, Easy Katka is going to have a really, really nice time just picking a target and destroying them.
I do feel like they have a more cohesive team right now. I mean, the Ogre Magi can set up the Slark Pounce that can set up the Shadow Fiend ultimate, but that's only a single target, and I don't know. I'm not digging it completely so far. I do like that Easy banned out the clockwork. That would have made their game a lot harder.
Yes. Absolutely. You know, they need some kind of a hard initiator right now because they don't really have that. Right now, Slardar and TA are both kind of frontliners that can jump in. Tusk, a great initiator. So they will be able to get a better jump. So yeah, ISG is definitely going to be looking for some kind of offlaner that can initiate really well. What are their options
10
here?
seconds remaining.
Man, let's see. So they need an offlaner at this point.
seconds
They could go
remaining.
with a Magnus, but it's really risky.
Yeah.
Maybe not that bad. He gets a good. It's a lot of
10
reliance
seconds
on
remaining.
the. It would be a lot of reliance on that character, on that
5
player,
seconds remaining.
Yeah.
to get a really good initiation. With a really good initiation, they could probably blow up the whole team very, very quickly.
Dire
What about a
team
Tidehunter? I know this is not a hero that's played very much right now, but I've always favored Tidehunter as an initiator and as someone who can counter the Witch Doctor. You know, kind of forces the Witch Doctor into the early BKB because that massive AoE stun is guaranteed to take him out of his ultimate.
I do like that a lot. It would actually do a lot in this lineup for ISG. They have a fair bit of melee, and he'd be pretty good against Phantom Lancer early on. He'd be able to
Yeah.
deal with the illusions fairly well. He could prevent the Phantom Lancer from getting a lot of farm.
5 seconds
It does it. Do
remaining.
you think it's definitely a Slardar on the Slardar on the offlane?
Yeah, now that they have the Phantom Lancer, I'm very much inclined to say maybe Slardar and Tusk are going to duel in the offlane, because if you get Slithering Crush set up by the Snowball, it's a very easy, first kill. And they're gonna go, with the Earthshaker
Yeah,
in the offlaner.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you know how much of a hard-on I have for Core Shaker.
I
It's-
do like it. That it was a good counterpick to the PL. I'm not sure. I mean, he's not a great initiator. He's not bad.
He relies on the enemy team setting him up for a good initiate. He's not like Clock where he can just go in if they're even spread out a little bit. He really has to. G is gonna have to be really careful with this.
Yes, and have to get a really good jump at the right time.
Yes, especially because if it's telegraphed or if Easy can see it coming, Tusk is going to be able to get people in a snowball and try and save them from that Echo Slam.
Right.
If that happens, that is pretty much a lost team fight for ISG. But if they get a good jump, it could be devastating.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I like the lineup. I think it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, and it's not too farm heavy either. I think this is going to be a lot of early fighting.
Yeah. Yeah, so I will go ahead and get us started with ISG on the Dire. On the Ogre, we have Ned. On the Lich, we have ACC. On the Slark, we have Papita. And last
Papita.
but not least, we have the Earthshaker. G is playing the Earthshaker.
Oh, don't forget Sue's on the Shadow Fiend. That's like the icing on top of the cake. Bam. And turning our heads over towards Easy on the Radiant side, who are doing a bit of a smoke here. K13 going to be playing his Templar Assassin in the mid, G-Freak on the Phantom Lancer. Nico Mitsu playing the Witch Doctor since he was denied that Winter Wyvern. We do have B2K on his signature Tusk support, and Smooth going to be in the offlane with the Slardar. Let's see if they can make something happen here. I don't know, maybe ISG
30
is
seconds to
kind of predicting this. They're staying clumped up, but at the same time, Slark is in a dangerous position over there. He could get easily caught out. They are
Yeah.
going to loop around and get him from the high ground, though. Oh, who's going to initiate, though? Looks like everyone's going to get inside the snowball. Here comes the ice cream truck. Hello, Shadow Fiend. And there is the setup for the Slardar stun that we were talking about. They are fighting under the Dire Tower, though. This could be a first blood because Smooth is getting really low on health, and I don't think they can take this.
Battle begins.
Very, very good reactions coming out from ISG for this. And
It was also very expensive with regen for Easy. They've had to pop a salve. There's a whole bunch of tangos that have already been used.
yeah, certainly eating away through everybody's regen. So with that, we are going to dissolve into the laning phase, and it looks like Ned might actually be sticking around mid to help out this the Shadow Fiend. This is something that we used to see a lot.
Yeah, he did level the Fire Blast first. I'm not sure it's going to be super effective. His Ignite is a better tick for its DA.
Oh, turning our heads top, it looks like we're going to have a snowball into a Slitherine Crush, and ACC going to get low on that Lich, but it looks like Papita is going to get enough attacks off to kind of deter them. Tusk taking quite a bit of damage there, and a couple of Essence shifts as well. That's a... Have you ever seen a Slark level up Essence shift first? I don't think I've ever seen that.
I have not. I guess he's expecting to be next to a hero quite a bit, and so he can steal a lot of extra health or a lot of extra stats. Is it only agility? It is only agility, isn't it?
Well, he steals stats from all their stats, but he gets it all as agility. And you know what? It will hit his right clicking pretty hard. But Ned is fed up with this aggressive dual offlane. He's going to rotate up here, and it looks like B2K might get it out with this observer ward here. He's just going to tank a little bit of centaur damage, and he's just going to stand fully in vision. B2K playing it nice and safe. Oh, but here comes the stun, and are we going to see the snowball? I don't think so. Slithering Crush is going to come out on ACC. He's going to get a little bit of right click damage, and that Lich is squishy as hell. Let me tell you. Amazing body blocks coming out from Ned, though. And it looks like he will get pounced on. Oh, yeah, and there goes the snowball. This is what we were talking about. Oh, the first blood does go the way of the Lich, and it looks like they're going to get B2K to follow up. Peta just barely escaping with his life. Very well played by ISG. I'm quite impressed by that, actually.
That was really well played. The best part about the Ogre is his big ass blocking the other team from running away. He's so good at it.
Does he actually have a bigger hitbox? I've never looked into this side of the game.
Maybe not, but it's just something about his move speed with his model. He's just really good at blocking, and he can take a lot of hit.
This is true. He is very tanky. He got that extra armor buff, and yeah, that natural base regen. He's quite the zoner now, if I do say so.
Yeah.
Well, looking the way of mid, it looks like K13 is having a little bit of a difficult time with this Shadow Fiend, sitting at 6 and 2. So Tusk is going to come in here and give him a little bit of a hand, but that's going to turn around really fast. Tusk
yeah, I'm really surprised that Tusk took the TA with him.
Could be instinctive.
They're gonna get the Shadow Fiend, but I'm not sure it was worth it.
Yeah, losing the TA is quite a big hit. Although I think that was a little bit of pathing going on there. Maybe the ice shards were just barely blocking the way, but Shadow Fiend couldn't quite get through. Nonetheless, it is nice to have a 1-to-1 instead of just giving away the TA for free. So that's going to go their way. Yeah, it looks like Phantom Lancer is getting the best of the farm on the map so far, sitting at 21 last hits at the 330 mark, closely followed by the Shadow Fiend. And again, this TA just, not having the best of times. Usually this is a matchup that I feel favors the TA, at least for the first couple levels, but not in this case.
It is a little surprising. They've been protecting the Shadow Fiend pretty well, and that's probably a big part of it.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what you have to do. We often see something like a Tusk or an Earthshaker sitting mid, protecting the Shadow Fiend for those first few vital levels, meanwhile stacking his jungle. But it looks like they're posturing to get a little bit aggressive here. Smooth with the Slardar up on the high ground.
And they've spotted it out.
Yeah, they have. He does have his level 2 available. Sprint and Slithering Crush. I'm having difficulty with my camera, so I can't quite see.
One
yeah,
thing
there
that's
it is.
interesting about what's happened, the Tusk is ahead on levels, ahead of the Slardar. And it's really valuable to have a Tusk with good levels. He can set up ganks really effectively.
That's the other thing. And we were talking about earlier how the Slardar doesn't necessarily have to be this farmed, care. Oh, but just looking mid, B2K does trap Soothe and ACC in the ice shards, but now it looks like B2K is going to be the one isolated. He's going to fall to the races. Another kill going the way of the Shadow Fiend. Meanwhile, Witch Doctor is going to get a cask off on Soothe. K13, can he get the final hit? But no, he's going to get stunned up by G, and he's going to be on the retreat now. He needs to get healed up by Nico Mitsu, otherwise bad things are coming his way.
They are being very aggressive, even knowing that the supports have gone missing from a lot of the lane.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems
they're
like
being punished for it.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that ISG, given the advantage of vision right now, they have that sentry down there, they can spot if TA goes in Viz, and they have the observer on the high ground. It's really kind of tilted in their favor, I want to say.
Yeah.
And it looks like Soothe is going to have to fight for his life here. He is going to get pounced on by the slug. Oh, there it is. He almost gets a little bit of return damage with the Slithering Crush, but it's not quite enough. A couple more essence chips going the way of the Slark.
Even you
The supports seem to be really making this game for easy right now. They have gotten most of the kills. They've been the ones that have gotten kind of effective ganks from easy, and the rest of the cores are just not doing a whole lot. The PL has been getting basically free farm in the bottom lane.